All right. What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing out there? Thank you all for joining us tonight on this lovely Tuesday night of May the 9th, 2023. Thank you all for joining us. A interesting topic that we have tonight. Of course, the title of tonight's show is Why Young Men Should Wait to Get Married, but Young Women Should Not. So, what does this mean? Let's dig into this letter. So, we have a letter again tonight from a young man who's contemplating moving in with his girlfriend. Is it his girlfriend, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, moving in with his girlfriend.
This is an interesting conversation to have now because it's a lot of talk like within, I guess, YouTube and social media platforms about like how men, shouldn't get married. But I think the context is wrong because men should get married. We have gone over that, the statistics of that. Women should get married too. But men in particular, they should get married. But I think the narrative should actually be younger men probably shouldn't get married as young.
Right. Yeah. You see, I'm gonna go ahead and just say this. That's the kind of like the beef that I have with the red pill culture. I am all for masculinity. I am for the family. I am for traditional roles. The thing is that we should still be getting married, but the thing about marriage and how we do it today is different. And I don't think a lot of people have caught on to that. Yeah. For instance, prenuptial agreements, that needs to be a cultural norm here in the United States, whether man or woman. That needs to be understood, people, that we need to start utilizing, and I mean anybody who's getting married need to start utilizing those
resources,
those agreements.
Yeah. What's those resources to protect you, like, and
right,
or in a way setting yourself up.
So prenuptial agreements. I'm sorry, we need to start utilizing prenuptial agreements, because what that will do is let you know that you're getting married because you love this person and want to be a service to this person.
Yeah,
that is all. And also it protects you. Prenuptial agreements do protect you
and the woman too, both,
right,
especially when it's done right. So
right, we shouldn't look at prenuptial agreements as a negative. Why do we look at prenups as a negative? But I just wanted to get it off my chest, is that the red pill culture tell young men not to get married, period. Right. But the thing is that you have to protect yourself in the right way, and no one is thinking about prenuptial agreements. We have options.
Well, yeah, and I think the conversation kind of is that they're saying, oh, there's just a lack of benefit for a man, but that's not true. Like, no, there's lots of benefits to why a man should get married, right, and very much so lots of benefits to why a woman should get married. It's just certainly lots of, I guess, more legal protections for the woman than it is the man.
Right. But overall in this culture, there are a lot of trust issues dealing with marriage. So
commitment in general.
Right. Yeah. So if you are here for the experience to get married, but you're still not sure about first of all, if you're not sure about your spouse or the person you're dating with, then no, you shouldn't get married. But if you want some sort of form of protection, and that person loves you, then they will sign that prenuptial agreement, because they're marrying you because they love you and they want to be of service to you of somehow. But that's my thing. Maybe we need to have a show about the benefits of prenuptial agreements, so that everyone is educated and understand what the benefit of that is and what is not. Because everybody thinks that, if I get in this marriage, a prenuptial agreement, all this person is going to do is get over on me. Yeah. Or whatever the case
or
may
even
be. That's not what it's
false
about.
Yeah, or even the false idea that the legal system won't uphold it. Like, that's not true. Like, it's a legal contract, it will be upheld. Again, that's just fear. A lot of people speak so much out of fear, in particular the African American culture, when it comes to the legal system and stuff, and rightfully so. Not saying we don't have a reason, people don't have a reason to fear that, but at the same time, if we can transmute that fear into learning the right ways of going about things in a way that creates a safe environment for both spouses, both people within the marriage, it really helps. So,
Right. All
anywho,
right.
we've gone on a rant. But that's just, I guess, that was on our hearts to lay out there. So, let's go ahead and pick in with this question, a lovely question. We love that we're getting questions in to help us lead into the topic because this young man, yeah, he needs some help. So let's read about
Yep. So let me read the subject. It says, my girlfriend is pressuring me to get married and have kids. Should I still move in with her? You all already know I'm always against a man moving in with the female. But as we read, I met her in December while visiting my parents in my home city. And to be honest, I was smitten from the beginning. I am 25 and she is 22. She is beautiful and seemed to be mentally stable. After a long relationship with a toxic woman, it was refreshing to meet her. In January, I asked her to be my girlfriend. Oh, everything was good. We lived in different cities, so we decided to go see each other every other week, alternately. I would go and stay a few days, and she would come and do the same a couple of weeks later. I recently got a new job, a remote job, and decided to move back to my home city. I told her I would move in with my parents for a few moments and then I'd move in with her when we are ready. She insisted that I move in with her. Okay, I said, fine, I'll move in with you. I am scheduled to move in with her at the beginning of June, but I'm having major concerns right now. Lately, she has been pushing for things I am not ready for yet. She is so ready to settle down, have kids, get married, buy a house, etc. Not necessarily in that order. She is fact she in fact stopped taking her birth control pills. I told her we'll have to use condoms. She said she does not like them. So pretty much she is willing to get pregnant. She has even discussed the marriage thing with her mom, who is also very excited for it, saying I need to ask her for permission and seek her opinion on the engagement ring. A lot of red flags in this letter. Like, I don't know what's the rush to get this girl married. She is pretty, smart, and has all her life ahead of her. She wants me to marry her within a year. She also even proposed that we buy a house together before we even get married. No. When I tell her that it's not a good idea to do so since we're not married, she said it should not make sense. We're getting married anyway.
No, it should not matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. She said it should not matter since we're getting married anyway. Whenever I show some reluctance, she acts sad and disappointed and starts saying that I don't love her enough. Should I move in with her still or cut it off? I like her, but I feel like I'm being rushed. Yes, my friend, you are being trapped. So let's look at some red flags. As we always do, like to dissect these letters so that you all can see what red flags look like. Society, we all need this. And this is a classic situation that goes on with our young adults. This has been going on since we've began to drive, I believe, humans in that matter. So he met her in December. Okay. Um, he's 25 years old. First, that's a red flag. You all seen the previous video. I am against young men getting married in their 20s. Why? Need to be a provider and protector. If not, what happens? Things like this happen. You have to move in with the woman, and she's going to tell you what to do. She's going to lead your life, lead the family. And evidently, he's having issues with that. So go to next. She is 22. So you all are going to be close in age. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is that I believe and I understand that he's not a provider yet. She's beautiful and seemed to be mentally stable. And what I mean by provider is that he's not able to have a two-person income. That's what a provider is. Someone who has a two-person income in this society. And it's not your fault. It's called inflation. But anyways, after a long relationship with a
Wait, I
toxic
do want to say she seemed. It's interesting because he states that she seemed to be mentally stable. Like, he's questioning her uh, sanity, and at that point. But he was smitten from the beginning. So I do want to just say, like, he likes her. So that isn't something to downplay. That's nice. But yeah, certainly at 25, you're quite young.
another red flag, the first sentence. I met her in December, January, February, March, April, May. You only known her for 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at the natural progression of a relationship, that's not, too far to really be questioning what you guys are doing. What she's actually, trying to do is solidify
Did
things
anybody
more.
have a talk about the intention on getting married? And I think that what happened is that this is what she's trying to. They're not having a balanced talk about this thing. She's rushing him into it. All right, but let's read more and address these red flags. No, but yeah, I agree with you, honey. Yeah, they're on that cusp of actually discussing wanting to move in with each other to see if it works. I agree. And at 5, I would say 6 months would be best, and that's what they're probably heading towards. Also, in after
The
a
issue
long,
is just mainly the age, and we'll address that, as we go on. But with her being 22 and him being 25, the reason why I just said she is beautiful and seemed he used past to be mentally stable is because at 22, honestly, she should be, looking to progress in marriage if that's something she's interested in.
right, but she needs to
But
be
for him, it's
right. Of course, he's not ready. He's only 25. He's not a
right.
protector. He's not. I
And
mean, he's not a
yeah.
provider.
And that's why it goes to the topic tonight.
Right.
Young men should wait to get married if they can't provide at that time.
Right. And what that means, buying the house, having the house under your credit. Those are things that I did.
Yeah, it's not more
it
of
can
you
happen.
moving in with her per
Right,
se.
exactly.
It's more of you bringing her
along with you.
Yeah, so that then it really just establishes that you're going to protect and provide for her. And women, I love that she's not operating out of the fear of, oh no, like, some women are quick to go to that fearful state of, if I do this with him, then something bad could happen, or whatever the case may be, some fearful example,
right?
But it is what it is. So
the mental stable part comes along with the next sentence. After a long relationship with a toxic woman, it was refreshing to meet her. He had issues with mental stability dealing with his previous relationship.
Yeah, so he's questioning hers.
Well, yeah, because she seems stable. My friend, what he's doing is that he's young. He doesn't understand hormones, and that women go through swings, mood swings, all of that. Watch them move in, and then you ask him a year later, and he's going to still say the same thing because he doesn't understand.
Well, not necessarily. I wouldn't call I'm not toxic on my menstrual cycle like that. Like that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the toxic woman thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the mental stability.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying I'm, because the fact is that women are more hormonal than men, so therefore that you all are not hormonally stable. That's just the reality of the situation. So therefore, hormones pull and push.
If we have constant fluctuation,
right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And whether or not we need one or more hormones,
right? As opposed to male testosterone, it's like this during the morning, and then like this at night, and then goes back up, and then that's different. So we continue on. In January, I asked her to be my girlfriend. Okay, so after a month, okay, that's cool. So you want to get to know more about her. Everything was good. We lived in different cities. Okay, so long distance relationship.
I want to know what that meant. Like, when I think it's important to normalize when you ask somebody to be your girlfriend, or you ask a guy to date. Yeah, what does that mean? Like, what are you intending from there? Because, sir, I think that if you are asking her to be your girlfriend, then you should be intending to one day marry her if you're dating with the intention. If you really do like her and she's really, you getting to know her and stuff. part of this could be, again, fear on your part as well, because you didn't sit back and think about, what am I doing dating? Am I completely ready for this? And then you get into the situation and you're like, oh no, I'm not prepared for this. But, all that means is you got to have those thoughts, those conversations about what you need to do to establish yourself before you get into that relationship, or ask somebody to be your girlfriend. Because, I mean, I guess it's to an extent normal to have like 2 to 3 years with the person as you're building, but you want to move in with that person. You want to, establish a relationship, commitment and stuff. Like, you want it to keep progressing. And I think this is progressing in a reasonable time frame, to be honest. So I don't know. I think really a lot of it is just him not being prepared, but he is up for the task of wanting to be a husband. I think he wants to.
No, he doesn't. Because he's
Then why ask her to be your girlfriend? That's a waste of time. Like, why ask somebody to be your girlfriend?
For the sexual convenience. To be his girlfriend means that he wants to be sexually convenient with her, exclusive. That's what that means. Coming from a male perspective, that's what that means. That's all that means. That's all that means. Because he didn't ask her to be her girlfriend and move in with me. I want to be your husband. No, he's telling her to be sexually exclusive with him. That's what that means. That's all that means. So moving forward, everything was good. That's what that means. We lived in different cities, so we decided to go see each other every other week, alternately. Of course, you all are not just, sitting around the house, Netflixing, and, you all are Netflixing and chilling. Wink, wink. I will go and stay a few days, and she would come and do the same a couple of weeks later. I recently got a new remote job and decided to move back to my home city. I told her I would move in with my parents for a few months, and then I'd move in with her when we are ready. She insisted that I move in with her. Okay, I said, fine, I'll move in with you. I am scheduled to move in with her at the beginning of June, but I am having major concerns right now. Did he list any of his concerns?
I don't know, but the main concern, no, he didn't. But my main concern is, how do you just say, I'll move in with you? Like, I don't know. Women, I get she loves you. And then this is why I said, I don't think it's right that he asked her to be his girlfriend if you're not intending on moving in and establishing a solid relationship. Like, his mind, if this is your girlfriend, of course she's going to say, oh, let's move in with each other. She's ready to take the next step. So I just think, like, if you're not prepared for a relationship, in a way, you're taking advantage of the spouse, because you're just buying time from them when they are already ready to go, ready to provide you,
Right. This is how you get that 8-year relationship, that 8.5 relationship that we was talking about.
Yeah.
This is how this happens. That same,
well, the last letter, they didn't even live together. So unfortunately,
they didn't either. But
they don't.
They don't even live in each other yet.
Right.
So lately, he's in major concerns right now. But I'm having major concerns right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So now he's
and the only one is that he is not ready. She is so ready to settle down, have kids, and get married, but he is not ready
to buy a house, and not necessarily in that order. She is in fact taking birth. Right. He's not ready to, because he still wants to have fun with you. She wants to take all these extra steps, move forward, hurry up and have kids, and he's not ready.
I think that part is a little rush, but
no, but those are her intentions.
Yeah, certainly.
They have to meet eye to eye about these things. What are they willing to compromise or negotiate about? The fact of the matter is that he knows that he can't provide all of this. Take care of kids, money for that, get married, a wedding, money for that, buy a house.
And that's why I'm saying that's not right. In the same way that men want a woman to be ready to go, to be a wife, to be a girlfriend, to be, supplying these things, it's also super important that the guy is in the position to do these things and not waste that time. Because honestly, that's why title, why young men should wait to get married, but young women should not.
Right.
Why? Because at that time, what you're looking for, you're ready. She's 22 years old. She's ready, and that's fine. I was ready to be a wife at 22. I was a wife at 22 years old. Like, so I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe the society of, it's two choices of feminism. You choose to be a wife or you choose to go out and push your career. It is what it is. You make your choice. Let her be a woman who is an adult who wants to make her choice and not question her sanity on that. I think that's great. The problem, though, sir, is that she's fully made you aware of these being the things that she wants. There needs to be some conversation about the things that you want, as well as are they in alignment with her right now? And if they're not, then you're wasting your time, and that's wrong.
He can't, because if he does, then he's going to lose her.
That just means that was wrong timing, just not the right timing. And
this just means that she picked the wrong man to entertain.
Yeah,
ladies
certainly
need to stop doing that.
It needs to be an older guy. Yeah,
young women need to stop dating these young guys who will leave you high and dry. Stop doing that, because unless you all both express your expectations in the beginning of where you all are trying to go with each other, then you will realize that you're wasting a lot of time just being in this boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Unless, like you said, he's ready to do that.
Because and he can show you that he's making enough money to support a family with 2 children. And a mortgage. Then he's ready.
Right.
Then he's ready. I would say he's ready.
Yeah, completely. We're gonna go
he just got his job.
Into the reason.
He just got his job.
We're gonna go for sure into the specific reasons on why men certainly young men certainly.
I hate to go. I'm sorry to go off the topic, but yeah, keep going. All right, she's talking about the birth control pills. This part is stupid.
I did want to say that I did think that young men, when in particular, if you this made me lose my train of thought, but if you are looking to date or get married, it should be in those later years when you're already, if you're not ready to, put in that work with this woman. So it would mean if, he's smitten by her and he likes her, she is ready to settle down and you want to take that step, is going to be that homogamous relationship where you guys are having to financially struggle together. If you don't make the money and she don't make the money, is she really willing to help you? That's again why I think it's so important that you guys sit down and have that conversation, because if you are willing, she's a willing participant to help you put in that work to get you to where you need to be. You're a willing participant to, say, I'm going to do such and such and such for you as we make these plans going along. Then I think it's great to go for it. Not saying that it's going to be easy. I mean, of course, because you're both young and you're both growing and stuff together. We experienced that. We grew up together. So we get that, having to go out here and get it on your own and get it together. That's what we did. But it wasn't easy and it required a lot.
Right.
So he shouldn't waste her time if this isn't something he's willing to sign up for.
So a litmus test of this was, if you go all the way back to this letter, he talked about the toxic relationship that he was in with his previous ex. That was why I can only assume that you all didn't make it because you weren't making enough money. The toxic situation. He wants to blame it up.
I wouldn't make it say that. I would just, toxic could be anything. She could be abusive. I don't put abuse by anybody. The woman could have been abusive. It could have really been toxic.
I can only assume. Like I said, to be fair, I could only assume, because a lot of times young men get into these relationships, move in, cohabitate with females, and then y'all are still living single lives. And that's what probably will happen. And the reason being is because she doesn't have any loyalty to you, because you're not her provider. You're not her provider. So that's what happens. They don't have any obligation to each other. And I preach about that because boyfriend and girlfriend relationships are not a real relationship. But it is a stepping stone to engagement and then until marriage. But you all don't have any contractual or real obligation to each other. Yeah, you don't. You're still single. It is an audition for marriage. Yeah, that's all. Oh,
But I do see the red flag thing though.
right.
The first
Yeah.
one right here, that she in fact stopped taking
Children,
her birth
children
control pills.
are a should be a planned situation, or you should be in a responsible situation before you have children. What I mean, you should have the salary enough to support a child.
Yeah.
So what she's doing, that's unacceptable. Not necessarily in that order. She's stopped taking her birth control pills. I told her she can do whatever the heck she want to do. Dude, she's not obligated to you.
But you
That's the
are
reason why.
obligated to not sleep with her without a condom if she's clearly telling
Yeah,
you
but
she's
she
about
don't
to
even
trap
want
you.
to. She don't even want to do that.
Well, it don't matter. That what you
Why
want
do
to do
women?
don't
Why do
matter.
women do this? Why do you all try to trap
She
men,
because you
knowing that
think
this
that
guy is
that
not a
doesn't
provider?
because
You
they
you're just
she's
setting this.
not
You
thinking
all.
about that.
This is another toxic situation, and he does he see this?
Yeah, that
He
part
does.
is very
That's very toxic.
suspect. Yeah.
Because that means you're trying to have a child with this man, and you don't even have a ring on your finger. So therefore, you all are not making responsible decisions.
Yep, but I will say, had he not gotten into this relationship by saying, I want you to be my girlfriend, not saying that justified, her stop taking her birth control pills, but it does give in her mind that you're saying, in a woman's mind, you're saying, hey, I'm interested in you and I want to see where this goes. And she's hoping that it can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And obviously, you guys are to the point where she's taking birth control pills and y'all having some type of conversation to that, she's telling you that she stopped and all this other stuff, then hey, y'all are in deep enough to where she thinks that y'all are really progressing into something serious. Where haven't you established that boundary yet? I'm not sure, but that's clearly what needs to happen.
He didn't establish the boundary, honey, and he's not, because he's not trying to get married yet. And he don't want to tell her that because you know why, she's gone. And
but
that's the right thing to do.
Right, because that's the right thing to do.
He's not a man. This isn't a man. This is a 25-year-old boy. This is what boys do.
Right.
This is what boys do.
This is why young women shouldn't marry.
We will string you along and then feed you enough, breadcrumbs to keep you on the trail with us. It might lead up to something, or it may not. He might go off and try to find somebody else next. He might have a bad situation with her. He'll break up with her, say, oh, she's toxic. I'm moving out, moving back to my parents' house.
Right. Exactly my point. Because why is she, though, the only toxic one? It's still not very healthy.
It's two ways.
Right. It's still, yeah.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. That was the litmus test to show what his character was. He had to refer back to his ex and talk about toxicity when he mentioned mental stability.
Yeah.
Just to justify that. He's telling you that he came out of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
That's what he's telling you. He came out of a bad relationship and it was toxic. Dude, it was probably more so that you weren't also providing in the relationship as well.
Yeah.
You can, be honest about that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that, how you should, avoid speaking so much about your ex, because that says, not much about you. And this person that you're dating is more interested in you and getting to know you and the things about you. So just pointing out why your last relationship failed is cool and all. But I mean, to be honest, one flaw in this already is that you're in a relationship with a woman who y'all intentions don't align. That's not right. It's just plain and simple. That's why young women have to be, it is always anybody's choice to do whatever they want to do. But young women certainly have to be aware that, hey, this young man isn't in the right space where I am right in this moment to have what I want. This doesn't mean that you have to put off what you want. Young women are more ready for marriage than a man is. Well, a young boy, a young man is.
The thing is, the beef I have with her is that she's doing stuff like this.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That isn't a mature thing to do. You got two kids trying to play house together,
right?
And they're making independent decisions amongst each other. Ultimately, what that does is leads to an argument that leads to fighting, and then eventually a breakup and toxic situation. That's this. Not taking birth control pills not being married, not having a providing income in this relationship ultimately leads to nothing.
Or a baby in a
Or
broken
either
home
right,
because
or either
y'all
a toxic
can't,
marriage situation.
and
But
that's tough.
anyways, all right,
Yeah,
so we
that's
move on.
certainly a bad decision though. So you keep using condoms or stop having sex with her.
He needs to stop having sex with her. All right, but even this, I'm gonna summarize what I think about all of it. Even discuss the marriage thing with her mom. She doesn't have a father in her life, so she have a mother. And that shows because she's taking the leadership in the relationship and telling you, sir, what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's not fair either. So who is also very excited for it? The mother's happy, saying I need to ask the mother for permission. That's that alpha mother. Well, I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
if
because she
she
doesn't
doesn't
have a
have a father,
father. Yeah,
okay,
it's
I
only
get that.
natural. Yeah.
I get
But
that.
at the same time, then why are you having this conversation?
And seek her opinion on the engagement ring. No, that's the alpha mother, that part. Seek her opinion on the
No,
engagement
there's
ring.
nothing wrong with that. But and
Yeah,
this
no,
whole
that
conversation is
is
wrong.
because a ring is a ring. The customary traditionally, the man, the ring is one salary, a 1 month salary for the ring.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's just saying like, go. I want to show you what my daughter likes. Her daughter probably told her. It sounds like she's close to her mom, so her daughter
Kind of.
probably told her mom like, "Hey, mom, can you tell him this is the
Yeah,
kind of
but
ring
do
I
you think
like?"
it's gonna be a reasonable? I don't know. I
I
can
don't
only
think they should
assume.
be having this
I don't even know.
conversation at all because, sir, if you're not interested in marriage,
Well,
then you
let's
should
finish.
not
Let's
be
finish the
having this
let's finish the letter
conversation.
and then let's
We
give
did
our
read it, but
synopsis.
we did read it,
Yeah, but
honey. I just
we're
want to.
throwing red flags.
Yeah, but that's to me a red flag because you're sitting here having this conversation with her mom. Why? If you're not interested, who is also very excited,
No,
that
she
means
told him to have the discussion with it. So pretty much she has even discussed the marriage thing with her mom,
saying that
who is
I need to
also
ask her permission and seek
right.
her opinion on the
That's what
engagement.
she told the boyfriend. You need to go talk to my mama about the marriage permission and then getting my ring.
Right. So again, this is why I'm saying that's a red flag because when they had this conversation, he should have told her. It's a lot of unspoken things that he's not saying, and not speaking up is very much a hurtful thing for a relationship, just much as
She doesn't
speaking up
respect him
is.
as a man because she's talking to him like a boy. And that's one area of red flag that I see. This letter is telling in the way that she talks to him. You need to go talk to my mother about permission to marry me, and you need to go talk to her about what ring I want. No, it don't work that way. The man buy the ring, and then with the money that he has and can afford. Like I don't even know what the rush is to get this girl married. She's smart and has all her life ahead of her, and I hope you do too. She wants to get married within a year.
But
Okay.
see, but that's again, this is brings us right back to the topic why young men should wait to get married and but young women shouldn't. She's right on target for what
Right,
she
she
wants
is.
in life. She wants
She's
to be
22
married to
years old.
start her life. Exactly.
Right.
She wants to be married, she wants to start her life, and she wants to have kids. That to her is what represents starting her life and her life being ahead of her. For a man, a 25-year-old young man, it's not so much your vision of where you're at right in that moment. Yes, you certainly need to prepare and be ready for that. But if this is something that a conversation that you are having with her, you guys need to talk about if this timing is aligning. Don't just let it go on because that's toxic too. Because you're stringing her along. You're having these conversations and not having these conversations.
That's
She's told
understood.
you that she's talked to her mom about it and woo woo woo, and she wants you to, do all of this as much as sure she shouldn't be telling him how to orchestrate that. He needs to step up and tell her, I'm not ready
I
for
already
that.
told you.
Like,
Right.
I'm not
Right.
ready for that. So that's
He's not.
wrong.
No, a man. The boy is not going to do that because he already told you why. For the convenience of sex, he's not going to do that. When I tell her that it's not a good idea to do so since we're not married, she even proposed that we buy a house together. That's the right thing to do.
It is. It
So
is.
and then next she said is no matter since we're getting married anyway. Even Whenever I show some reluctancy, she acts sad and disappointed and starts saying that I don't even love her.
I don't
No,
love her now.
no, that's not it. He's not able to provide for you. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Should
She
I
doesn't
move?
have enough like to yeah, and I don't think that it's saying that I don't love that you don't love her, because I think she, knows that you do, but you just can't offer all that love should bring of a marriage, of a husband, and you're not ready to give that to her right in this moment where she is ready. Of course she's going to be upset and want to cry about that, because it's not,
Right, because she likes him.
right.
She likes him a lot. Should I
And he
move in
needs
with
to
her still or cut it off? I like to. I like her, but I feel like I'm being rushed. You are being rushed, young man. You
Yeah.
should cut it off. That's the bottom line, because not unless you're ready for a struggle love situation where you're not going to have enough money often at times. You're not going to have the opportunities to go out and eat most of the time. If you all move in together, buy a house, get married, and have kids, in the beginning, it is going to be very tight, for the lack of better words. Your financial situation is going to be very tight. Unless you're fine with that. What I mean by tight is that by the end of the month, you possibly have around $200 to $300 in your bank account. And that's with you working and with her working. I'm assuming that you all probably make about average pay, and you all are coming in jointly around probably $50,000 to $60,000 a year. That's barely anything. I don't know what city or that you all live in, and especially if you all live in a city, is even more expensive. I mean, hell, living in the country is expensive too, because you use gas and fuel to travel a lot. Depending on how you all are moving around, like I said, finances are going to be very tight, to the point to where one emergency will basically break you or leave you homeless. So you have to be very careful about what you're doing. The whole message here, young man, is the fact that you need to be established as a provider. What does that mean? I need to have an income to retire my wife. I need to have that much money in order to get married, have a mortgage that I can pay with my own income, and then also to raise children with, or a child with. Times are different. This is no longer the 60s, the 70s. This is not even the 80s or the 90s, the glorious 90s that we grew up in, where the dollar was a dollar. Now, in these times, inflation is so high now that it's so hard even to save money on an average income. Average income United States is around $50,000 to $55,000. That's nothing. And no, I'm not trying to bust shots at people who make average incomes, but you all know it just as much as I do. It is very hard trying to live on an average income, own a home, and raise kids. House values have at least gone up $100,000 since COVID, since 2020. The price of a home, starter homes, try to find one. Good luck, because it's going to be very hard to try to find a house where you are able to save money. Food prices have gone up, gasoline, all of that stuff has gone up, but still wages have remained the same. So that is why it is always important for men, young men in your 20s, to go work 12 hours Monday through Friday, have 2 jobs, save your money on the weekends, indulge in your hobbies, um, hone your skills, learn a martial arts, self-defense, marksmanship, something. Go to the range, learn how to use firearms and protect yourself, things of that nature. You need to maximize yourself as a man. Find mentors, male mentor. This man needs a male mentor. He said he has a father. And the thing about this is that our fathers didn't have this information growing up. His father is unable to guide this young man into manhood. that is the reality of my generation, the generation before me as well, that a lot of men did not teach their sons how to be fathers or men or husbands. And the reason being is because why? The majority of the black population of men were incarcerated or still are incarcerated. So they are non-existent. Men in our communities are non-existent.
I don't think that's true. I think there's a, you exist and other, I think
Well,
that,
I'm talking about the fathers. Case
well,
in point,
yeah,
case in
just,
point, what 62% of children that are born here in the United States are born in a single parent household, and that's because of divorce, whether the father is deceased or either he's incarcerated. And I think incarcerated men make up most majority of the single men who are raised by single mothers make up the majority of the incarcerated population in the United States. So that's what I was hitting on, was the fact that the we men lost a lot of information because we didn't have men before us. They were gone. They didn't stick around. They left mama. They were either running the streets, dead, or in jail. That's just the fact of the matter of the situation. Men in America were neglected and were not provided the valuable instructions on how to be husbands and fathers to this generation today. That's the reason why a lot of men are struggling when it comes to situations like this letter, like this young man is going through. Had he had a good man in his life, male mentor, he has a father. He talks about his parents. My gosh, man, talk to your father.
well, that was going to be my point, that even for that too, times have changed now more than ever. It's different for a man to have to keep up with a rate of inflation, something that didn't increase as drastically as it, did back, now, like it used to back then. And so that's something that's different. Even probably men that are about to retire, older generational men, they're having to adjust to that. Like retirement looks different for them because inflation is higher than ever and stuff like that. So, the economic situation has certainly changed. And that's why I personally think modern men, in particular modern young men, really do have to take their time and get themselves prepared for marriage versus just saying, oh, I like this woman and I want to make her my wife because she's beautiful, she makes me feel good, and all that other great stuff. But women in particular too have to be aware of this man, and is he in the position right now, not kind of, in the future, but right now, to be who you need him to be. Now, some women are okay with helping a man out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think the homogamous relationship could work, but yeah, certainly, like you were saying, it would have a lot of issues. But in particular, I think we should move on to why some studies have shown that young men should wait to get married. In particular, one study showed, well, a few studies have shown that men, as they age, what they like, their values, their goals in life change from their 20s to their 30s. So, in particular, the man who he has become is much different from 20 to 30. So, with that, you're going to need a woman who, if you get married in your 20s, you want to make sure that she is still in alignment with who you are in your 30s if you so happen to change the things you like or, don't like. So that's a big thing within studies that men have to be aware of, because as you age, as you grow, and as you become more educated and successful, what you like and don't like, can change. Same thing for a woman definitely applies, but more so in particular for a man to have a wife who is in alignment with his program and how he really envisions marriage, so that he can help her be on track and help the whole family just function in a whole core unit, as a whole core unit. What?
Nothing.
Oh, next.
Were you talking about men on that note? Men are more likely to be financially stable in their 30s. Yes, that's what I was preaching about earlier. So it just makes sense now. So men, what, in the 70s, I think, married at the age of 23, 60s at the age of 23. Men are now marrying at the age of 30. because why? It makes more sense. You're more financially sound, more financially stable. You're making more money than in your 20s. Hell, you may even own a business. That is something that you could be that young men in their 20s can be working on beside their career, is establishing a business, a set aside income, some sort of business where that can generate revenue outside of your daily job. You have to find ways to be resourceful and carry on that type of monetary influx of money, so that you're able to face the challenges, the financial challenges of the future, especially if you want to raise a family. Men are more likely to be emotionally mature in their 30s. Yes, this in your 30s is where you start owning up to being a man and being and taking on the responsibilities of adulting. You're no longer in your 20s looking back to mom and daddy for help. You're finding your way, you're doing your things, and you're doing your own thing, and it looks good to a woman who's looking for a husband. You're able to look down, not look down, but look back into the pool of 20-year-old women and find a wife who has no question about you, and they will feel comfortable and secure of being in a relationship with you, and not like this young man who's the girl saying that she's feeling sad because he's not answering the question of whether he wants to be married and have a house or a home.
Yeah.
A man in his 30s, if mid 30s or early 40s, knows what his intentions are of wanting to get married and how he wants to do it, strategically plan with you in order to get it done, because he has the resources to do it, unlike the young 25-year-old man here. He don't have the resources. He don't know. Life is just taking him by the ears and pulling him along, because he's not affirm. He's not affirming and being assertive in his decision making of what family is supposed to look like to him, or his future is supposed to look like to him, and how he wants to take this woman and be his wife. He don't even know how that's going to happen. He's trying to move in with her, and why? I don't know. I don't know. To me, it makes sense if the lady that moves in with him, so that he can show that how much of a provider and protector that he is. I'm serious. A man should be paying the rent, should be paying the mortgage, not the woman. Not a 50-50 situation either. If you all are splitting bills and you all in your 20s, you are not yet ready to get married. You're not. Y'all are still playing house. But you need to challenge the young men to have an income to where they are paying the mortgage, paying the rent. Because you know why? Then you'll stop hearing all this red pill stuff that women ain't no good. All they're doing is being materialistic. All they want is money. They're wanting a provider and a protector. If you are protecting her, you're paying all the bills, and the woman is still acting up, then you have an excuse and a right to go kick her to the curb. A lot of guys in this red pill movement, that's why my beef with the red pill. A lot of guys in these red pill movement, the red pill movement speaks a lot for the average man. The average man who makes $50,000 to $55,000 or maybe $60,000, who has enough money for themselves. That's the reason why these guys are mad and upset at women, because they don't have enough money for child support, and their home, their rent, and food, to feed themselves. That is the reason why they've also too made bad decisions and dealt with bad now I'm not going to say necessarily bad women, but they dealt with women that they were not supposed to deal with, and they ended up in a situation to where they're throwing up a lot of money.
Or they're scorned and emotionally hurt.
Plus all of that, and traumatized by women and all that stuff. And all they left to do is just talk bad and reach bad, talk bad about this situation. I'm not saying that women didn't contribute to this either, because they did. Now you could talk about, raising these type of men. Most of the time, these men were raised by single women. In this case, this man was raised by both his parents. So his father neglected to tell him about how he should establish himself in his 20s and prepare himself for marriage in his 30s.
Yeah, that's why talks like this is important, because a
Right.
lot of families don't have them, believe it or not. And that, I didn't have it growing up, but as we had kids, I automatically thought within myself, like, wow, this is important to have these conversations, because how else are you going to learn these things if they don't come directly from your parents?
This is real life. This is real life, y'all. Like, we're not getting this information from nowhere, but you're getting it from us. We're dropping jewels.
Yeah. I mean, now more than ever with this internet culture that we live in, it's a lot of information out here, but it's just really important that you find information that resonates with you and who you want to be and who you align with, and take the steps to do that. So if you know that you want to be a righteous man and a righteous husband and a father, then make sure that you are positioning yourself to do that. And we're not saying that, oh, you got to go out here and make 6 figures in order to please a woman. No, certainly not. Some women don't need that much, and that's completely fine too. There's nothing wrong with being okay with, not the luxurious things. There's nothing wrong with a simple life. That is a beautiful thing too. But the thing is, don't go looking for a supermodel chick who wants a luxurious life when you can't provide that, because that's
realistic
expectations. It just
gotta
hurts
have realistic
yourself.
expectations.
And you want to be able to provide for who you can provide for, and have a life that you can sustain for a long time for you and your family. As a head of the household, you need to operate as a head. And this young man needs, to see that. It's important, though. That's why young men certainly should go ahead and, prolong marriage until you have positioned yourself to really benefit from marriage, because you've done the work to get yourself in a position so that you can even have set up a marriage in the right way. So next, I guess we should get into why, because we're running out of time, why young women may benefit from getting married sooner. So in particular, of course, finances are much different for women, and studies have shown that women who get married are more likely to be financially secure than women who don't get married. So this could mean, hey, marrying up, hypergamy. We talk about that. That's normal. A woman is supposed to look for who can be the best provider for her. Not saying you just go leveling up all over the place and not being committed and faithful, but it is saying that, sure, weigh your options before you accept a man's proposal, so that you are comfortable and secure to, go ahead and be in your feminine and play your role in a way that you're comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that.
Can I comment on that?
Mm-hmm.
You see that, I'm beating up on the red pill movement, but the thing is that, they shun on stuff like this. That, why is the woman leaving for one man for more money, or whatever the case may be? Women always did that.
No, that is wrong within. I always say that is wrong within character. You don't just up and the man hasn't done anything to you, and y'all have established a relationship or a marriage in particular, and you just up and jump ship because another man makes more. No, that is a character flaw, and that is certainly wrong, and that is not a righteous or divine woman not at all.
No,
So
it's
that,
not.
yeah, I agree with
all
that.
I was saying was that
wrong.
Throughout traditional times, women always stuck by somebody who was a provider or protector.
It's a competition, much like it is for that's what I'm saying. But that's dating,
Right. But the thing is this, right? Yeah, you shouldn't do that in a marriage. Don't get me wrong. But while you're dating, you need to find your best suitor. And what that means is that you're gonna have to be social with guys and men, and also to understand what type of finances they have, what type of character they have, their morals, their judgments, and also their assets. Because you want to position yourself, if you have the wife qualities, you want to position yourself to be of service to this man, who's also going to be of service to you as a provider and a protector.
And it's okay to want to get onto a higher program in a way.
Everybody want to be in the best position at the end, but also to understand that there's risks involved. You may make the wrong decision because you may have thought otherwise. This person has everything that you look, but remember everything that's gold doesn't glitter. Isn't everything that glitter isn't gold, rather.
That's why I talk in particular in my wife economics course that, of course, you want this man to be a provider, but you first look more at who he is as a man. And his ethics and his values,
how he treats the people around him, how he treats his mother.
And the same goes for the man too. Like, there's certainly, things that you gotta look past the money first. But women are also more likely to be emotionally supported if they get married. So studies have shown that when a married woman compared to a single woman is, provided more support because of the companionship, she's given the opportunity to, have that, especially if he comes from a great depth of knowledge. He can teach you things. He can help support you through life. He can really help guide you. And that's a beautiful thing about a man coming in with a woman, and why, in particular, women are great when they're young and they get married if they don't have like that straight guidance from a man. And there is an older man, not saying your granddaddy or nothing like that, but just a man who is more mature in his 30s, aware and ready to lead you and give you the knowledge that you need so that you can then make responsible choices and decisions in your life and ultimately both of your life. So certainly consider marrying a man who can offer you a lot of knowledge as well and can support you with that mental and emotional support. Kind of hard to get from a younger man who's trying to grow up himself.
Or just support himself, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not there.
Yep. And then also, of course, studies have shown that women who are marry young, when they get married at a younger age, they are also more likely to have kids during a more childbearing prime time. So there are prime times, of course, we all know that a woman should get married. So and will have birth. And when a woman does get married younger, it's much higher that, hey, she's going to go ahead and have a kid. That's what usually comes next. But also it secures the financial unit, the family unit in particular, in stating that, hey, it is a man who is going to be around because he's here. He's your husband. He's accepted this and he's taking you on, especially if you've done your due diligence, and he's a good man who's providing for you and protecting for you. That's a great reason to go ahead and get married young to an older man who is ready for that. Got to be ready for it. So ultimately, the decision of when you get married is a personal one. We're not here to tell anybody what to do, just weighing the pros and the cons of, are you really ready for what it takes to be a husband? Are you really ready for what it takes to be a wife? Wifeconomics.com.
That is correct. Back to the summary of everything, young men should wait to get married.
Mm-hmm.
You don't come into your own in 2023 until you are in your 30s, and if that in your mid 30s.
Yeah.
And what I mean by coming into your own, you're making money. You're making enough money to provide a 2-person income. If you will fare off better that way, you will have less arguments and fights over finances. You will have less arguments and fights of someone wanting to step out of the relationship because they're feeling like they're not being taken care of or provided for, being that the girlfriend or whatever the case may be. So for this young man, I would say, please don't move in with her. She can either, one, wait on you until you're well established on getting married, or either, two, you all can make the bad decision. And I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad decision, or make the hard decision on moving in together and trying to figure things out together. Or number three, you can leave her and establish yourself, allow your money to grow, minimize your risks along the way, because she's creating risks with you now of trying to have children with you without being married and having a house to live in.
He's creating risks with her.
Yes, because he's agreeing to, well, he ain't even agree to live in with her.
No, he didn't.
But he asked at the end, should he move in with her or not, or just run. So don't move in with her if she's not on protection. I mean, if she's not using protection or contraceptives, you need to use contraceptives. Don't listen to her on that. And then that may even ultimately break up your relationship anyway, to be honest with you. So you need to create an exit strategy and stick to it. Stick to your plan. Be assertive in your decision and don't look back. I know it may be hard, but that's what you need to do. Learn from your past relationship and move better moving forward. That's all I can say. Good luck. So with that being said, you all have a good night. Thank you all for coming out. Like, share, subscribe. Please share this video with all the young men that you all have in your life. Your men, young men, 18 and up until 30, up until 35, 16-year-olds, please. Young men need this message. This was information that I did not have, and this is great information that they can use and they should practice. So you all have a wonderful night. Peace.